name is Will Tatum. I'm the Dutchess County historian, and today my office is working with Historic Red Hook to provide a living history educational program to bring the Elmendorf Inn to life as it might have been in 1813 when a fellow named Jacob Loop was running the establishment. We know that Jacob hosted several meetings of the town supervisors over the years, so we suspect, given the general lack of large buildings in the area, that this also housed the Justices of the Peace Court meetings, which was the predecessor to the modern town court meetings. So our major scenarios today are exploring several cases from the Dutchess County Ancient Documents Collection, the original surviving legal documents from the county court to which the Justices Court would have sent major cases. And otherwise, we're attempting to show the sorts of activities that happened around court meetings, because when you had the Justices of the Peace together, you would often have businessmen coming in to have contracts executed, and then other folks coming in to sell wares to all of those individuals. So we have both the court meeting, and we have all of the various and sundry money-making and business dealings that happened around that, and looking back at 1813 and how it might have been here.
So I'm reading essays on poetry and music as they affect the mind. This is by James Beatty, who's a professor of moral philosophy at the University of Aberdeen. And I'm reading his essay on music and why it's appealing. So it's a very philosophical reflection on that, which I'm hoping will help me play music better as a dancing master. Because like many dancing masters, I have to know both the dancing and be my own band. And I actually have what's known as a dancing master's kit, which is here. This is not a child's instrument, it's my size. Many dancing masters couldn't support themselves just in one town. So a town like Red Hook or Poughkeepsie couldn't support a full-time dancing master, so they would be circuit riders and spend, one night every 2 weeks in Red Hook, and one night every 2 weeks in Rhinebeck, and one night every 2 weeks in Poughkeepsie, and just travel around and say, every other Tuesday I'll be here to teach a dance class. The travel, of course, was on foot, and a big old violin is very awkward to carry. So this is called a kit violin. Kit is short for pocket, and it's literally pocket sized. It could fit in my coat if I had a pocket. And it's played down here, but it's pretty loud.
First thing we do is we make sure we have a good braise. Once we have a good layer of coals at the bottom, we just keep adding the right amount of wood and type of wood that we want. If she asks me to cook something hard, I'll make sure that there's a rip-roaring fire underneath and that's hot quick. And right now, like up here, we have a pork shoulder and it has to cook slow. So I'm just got a slow cooking going, right? So it's just low heat, no big flame, no big, it's just, I could put my hand here and I'm good to go. So it's gonna slowly cook until about 4 o'clock tonight, and then we'll be able to serve it nicely.
I did quite a bit of research in the last couple of weeks, pulling together different family cookbooks from the area and from the era, and pulled recipes from those. But I'm also supplementing that with my own family recipes, which is what a cook would have done in the period as well. So the white-red recipe is a family recipe that goes back hundreds of years. The pork creton is his family recipe of pork. It's French-Canadian pork, onions, garlic, cooked until it's pate. We use maple products instead of Caribbean sugar because we have easier access to those things. We save the more expensive sugars for the bartender.
So what I'm doing here is I have all the ingredients for serving the original cocktail. which is first defined as a mixed alcoholic beverage just up the river in Hudson, New York in 1806 in a newspaper article from the Balanced and Columbian Repository, which is a Federalist newspaper. Now, the Federalists are the arch enemies of the Jeffersonian Republicans, who were often called the Democrats, because they were supposed to be the party of the common people. So here's what they write about cocktails in 1806. Cocktail is a stimulating liquor composed of spirits of any kind, sugar, water, and bitters. It is vulgarly called bittered sling, and is supposed to be an excellent electioneering potion, inasmuch as it renders the heart stout and bold, at the same time as it fuddles the head. It is said also to be of great use to a Democratic candidate, that is to say a Jeffersonian, because a person, having swallowed a glass of it, is ready to swallow anything else. That's from May 13, 1806. It's the first definition we have of a cocktail as a mixed alcoholic drink. So I have the ingredients here. I have my sugar in loaf form. I have nutmeg to grate on top. I have here my spirits. As it said, spirits of any kind. A lot of early recipes for drinks do specify brandy, so I brought a brandy. It's young, it hasn't been aged very long, and it's overproof, it's very strong. And this is bitters, which is a fragrant and potent drink made of various bitter roots and citrus peels infused in liquor. And then finally I have water as well, but I'm sure everyone's acquainted with water already. So what you do is you just mix all this up, and then you serve it out. A population of free white men are the people who would be drinking the most, on average more than two drinks per person per day. And what is something that a free white man can do in this era that another person can't? Vote, hold office, serve on juries. And so the people with the most political power were also the people who were most likely to be drunk. Free white men are drinking 3 or 4 drinks a day. And that's not counting the people that were the real drunks, of which there were many. You can imagine the kind of problems that caused. And it was really a problem that needed a solution. So, and it's something that people were starting to grapple with. They really start after 1830. So it takes generations for Americans to, American social mores to kind of change and kind of account for the need for self-government. What the Industrial Revolution does is it changes the idea of what work is. So when you're working at a factory, you're on the clock. You have work, you're expected to be working constantly during your work. If you're just waiting for plants to grow and occasionally weeding, milking the cows, doing normal farm work, you may have more free time. So absolutely, industrialization changes the whole way that people think about work and the way that people think about their lives, think about their days. And, we have this idea now of work, your work life, and the rest of your life being these two separate things, which, as work becomes harsher, people demand a separate life, and that's where you get movements like the free hour work week, the weekend work.
I kind of fell into this as a career. I was theatrically trained as a theatrical costumer, realized that the theater world was insane and not for me. I'm a morning person. I don't do well after 8 p.m. at night, and we all know theater happens in the evening. So 1 or 2 midnights of working 12-hour days, and my full light was on, and I went, there has to be something different. And I went back to school and took museum studies and started making historical clothes for people, and then also started filling in as an interpreter. And I love to cook, so this is the fun part for me, is cooking.
Just the first capone is going to cross by the right hand. So if we cross, 1 and 2, and then we loop around in the second pace as the 2s move up to make room. 3 and 4, and then you cross back to where you came from. 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. So you have 8 bars or 16 steps to do cross, cast around the outside, and then cross back to your own side. 1's cross, and 2 cast. 3 and 4, 2 step up, and the 1's cross back to their own side. 6, 7, 8. Excellent. Second half of the dance is both the 2's and the 1's take hands in a circle. And you're going to go all the way around. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and back. Other way, other way. 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. Excellent.